The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
You're listening to UCW Radio. In your face.
Welcome to another segment of UCW Radio. I'm your host, Lou, a.k.a. Falcon Coparis. And before we start, let me remind our listeners that we can be reached at ucwradio.com. Or you can call us at 323-215-1446. And if we're live at the moment, then you are. But definitely leave your questions for our guests so that you can get involved. And your questions, your comments, whatever it may be, just be nice. And I'm also taking questions or comments via Twitter at any time. You can follow me at Louis, L-O-U-I-S, Velazquez, V-E-L-A-Z-Q-U-E-Z. That's twitter.com/Louis Velazquez. And on today's show, we will be featuring pro wrestler Scotty Riggs. He's a former WCW Tag Team Champion, which was acquired by the WWE a little while back. And during his stint, he teamed up with Marcus Alexander Bagwell, a.k.a. Buff Bagwell, the brother of baseball player Jeff Bagwell. He's done a lot of great things during his career. He was also with ECW with his buddy Rob Van Dam. That was also acquired by the WWE. And he was with TCW, that's Dusty Rhodes' organization. He was with them for a little bit before they folded. And we will be getting into some things with Scotty. So let's get the latest from him. Let's get him on the line.
Scotty, welcome to UCW Radio. I want to thank you in advance for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak with us today.
Well, Lou, it's my pleasure to be a part of UCW and your radio program. And, man, I've heard nothing but good things about you, so let's get this thing rolling.
All right, let's rock and roll. Now, Scotty, everybody knows you're a pro wrestler, formerly of World Championship Wrestling, Extreme Championship Wrestling. Both of these wrestling organizations got taken over by the WWE. You were a tag team champion in one of the top two wrestling organizations in the world during that time. And you achieved what most pro wrestlers just dream about. Now, I'd like to go back when you first started in wrestling, in the business, and kind of find out how you got involved in it in the first place.
Well, I mean, honestly, I started off as an 8-year-old fan of it. My dad used to take me to the events in Savannah, Georgia, where I was born and raised. And we used to go watch Mid-Atlantic, which had Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat, Blackjack Mulligan, Wrestling 2, Dick Slater, all those cool cats on there way back in the late 70s, early 80s. Had that real good mix in there. You used to go see them at Savannah Civic Center every other weekend, which was really cool back then. But I basically grew up as a fan, and then progressed out of that to where I went to West Georgia College. Got my degree in business management and happened to meet a guy who wrestled as the bank mayor, Ted Allen. This guy had a lot of influence with Art Anderson, Tracy Smothers, Randy Anderson, the referee, Big Boss Man. A lot of people that came out of the northeast part of Georgia, the Rome area. Pardon me?
The NWA days.
Yeah, exactly. Way back to the old NWA days. But he actually helped train a lot of those guys. Worked a lot with Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson. And the only thing that kept this guy from really making a big time was the fact that he was Rey Mysterio's size before Rey Mysterio's size was cool.
Right.
So this guy was multi-talented, knew the basics, taught us really well, and in USWA, and got my break, basically working, WCW under Ole Anderson when he was the booker at the time, but they only had me on a nightly deal. Actually left there on my own accord and went to work for Jerry the King Lawler in USWA back in January of 95 to August of 95 when Jimmy Hart noticed me and Bagwell had done a music video for MTV, which aired on their Buzz Cuts, which was a group called AHA. We did a video for them. And Kemper Rogers, the guy who was producing it and editing it, saw Jimmy Hart, saw the work being done. And at that time, the Patriot had left WCW, leaving Bagwell kind of floundering a little bit.
Right.
And Jimmy Hart saw, hey, the Fantastics, the Rock Roll Express, that type of thing out of me and Bagwell.
Right.
So he put me and Bagwell together, and that's how he came out with the American Males, which again, yes, we won the WCW World Tag Team Champions in Johnson City back in 95 on the third ever Nitro, guest star meet, and proudly wore those belts for a good 3-6 months, right in that range, defended them as often as we could, and just had a blast being a part of a traveling crew which extended me, myself, the Icon Sting, and the Total Package Lex Luger. We actually were the four horsemen, I guess you could say, of good guys, even though we never did it in front of the camera.
Right.
We did it a whole lot on the golf course, in the gym, in rental cars, hotels, you name it. We basically have become best friends. We trained together. We did a lot of things together, and that's basically how my wrestling career started. And me and Rob Van Dam happened to have become really, really good friends, and are great friends as of today. Still, we talk at least once, twice a week, get a text, phone call, me and his wife Sonia, and their mom and dad, and everything else. Keep in contact on a regular basis, even though Rob's on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast. And I actually met Rob through that, and Rob was one of the guys that when I left WCW pushed to get Paul E. Dangerously and Tommy Jr., those guys, to get me in ECW, which they did.
And how long was the span from your WCW, when you left WCW, until you hit the ECW?
Let's just say WCW, we were administered drug tests, randomly, and then every 6 months, company-wide, we did the full extent physical, hair, blood, urine, everything in the world you can think of, because we were owned by Ted Turner.